years after Canon introduced the 1DC, the R5C is another cinema camera in a DSLR body. Just like back then, Canon seems to bring the absolute hybrid camera for photo as well as video recording to the market. Nevertheless, the R5C has the same 8K sensor as the Canon R5, but is the video quality really better and also the video functionality is better? You're gonna find out in this video coming up. We've been using the R5C for the past few weeks and also used it on 2 steps from hell to see how it performs in a real-world environment. Thanks to Canon Germany for providing me with the camera. No money has been exchanged here and my opinion of the R5C is absolutely my own. When we look at the body, little has changed compared to the R5. Sure, we have the fan, but in terms of handling, the R5C is very light and fits good in the hand. The good thing is that the fan is almost imperceptible, which will be pleasing for the sound wizard. We have many different buttons that can be configured to certain settings, and we even have a timecode port which is great for syncing, but unfortunately the micro HDMI port is a real disappointment for a cinema camera. Due to the almost identical design to the R5, the R5C also uses the widely used LPE6 batteries, but that's quite a problem here. With one battery you can operate the camera for a maximum of 30 minutes, more like 20 minutes, which is very impractical, so you have to consider a V-mount solution as the camera requires an extremely large amount of power. At the top we have a new on and off switch where you can switch between the cinema menu and the photo menu, but I would have liked more resistance here because I always switch to the other menu when I wanted to turn it off. But it's cool that we have 2 different operating systems on the board, the well-known Canon photo menu and the cinema menu, which we know from cameras like the C70, C200 and so on. But the question really is, what's the point now? Well, on the one hand we have decent codecs and recording formats that have plenty of detail and can be edited smoothly, and we have 2 different raw compression formats which I really like. On the other hand, there's no 30-minute recording limit and the fan means that the R5s won't overheat. So the R5C is much better suited for video. For me, as probably for many others, the question is how the image looks, and to be honest, I was very pleasantly surprised here. Great colors, great dynamic range and lots of details in the 8K image. I wasn't convinced by the R5, but the R5C can do that in any case. The only problem is that the R5C only shoots in Canon Log 3 internally, but when you shoot in RAW you have Canon Log 2, but you're only monitoring Canon Log 3 when shooting, so that's a problem. Canon Log 2 has more dynamic range and is therefore the best log format from Canon, but that's not available internally as a limitation as with the photo cameras from Canon. Here in this example you can clearly see how much more detail you have in the shadows with Canon Log 2. I hope Canon will still deliver this via software, and I feel like this limitation is really pointless. The 60 FPS also looks good, and also the 4K 120 FPS is convincing, even it's line skipped. The rolling shutter on the R5C is not a big deal, it's visible but still within reason in my opinion. The R5 has IBIS, which the R5C does not, but the R5C has dual native ISO, once at 800 and once at 3200. You can already see that the low-light performance improves significantly, but it can't keep up with the current Sony cameras. Nevertheless, the R5C can be used solidly up to ISO 12800, which is good. Then I subjected the R5 II to an overexposure and underexposure test. Here I exposed the image at 39 IRE and then I overexposed and underexposed 1 stop at a time. So you can underexpose the R5C about to 3 stops. After that you have clear artifacts and no good colors anymore. In the overexposure test, same result. Here the R5C does well up to 3 stops. Above that we lose highlight detail. Overall I think that's a solid value. The autofocus works reliable but has significantly more functionalities in photo more than in video mode, so no changes here. With the 45 megapixels and 8K raw video recording, the R5C is a great hybrid camera. I think it's worth if you're doing both photo and video jobs, but the battery issue in video alone is annoying, so you have to rig it out the camera, which is unsuitable for photo. So you see you have to live with a few inconveniences here. So would I recommend the camera over the R5 or R6 for video? Yes, in any case, because it has all the settings for exposure tools, false color, histograms and so on. For photo alone, I think the R5 is better suited since it costs less. Would I recommend the R5C over a real cinema camera like the C70? Well, I'll answer that question in my next video where we will compare both of these cameras. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to don't miss any of the upcoming content. And you know that game, if you have any further questions, just drop them down in the comments below and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers!